Hi guys! You had a lot of questions for me after my last stock photography video about whether or not stock photography is worth it, whether there are things that we can know to make ourselves as stock photographers more successful. So I've got Victoria Schaal with me here today, a former employee at one of the largest stock photography agencies in the world, to answer your questions. Victoria is an Italian Franco marketing professional. She is a visual creator herself and a former marketing employee, as I said, at 123RF Stock Photography Agency, the fourth largest agency in the world. She herself has been a stock photographer since attending university in the UK, where she found a Nikon DSLR and fell in love with it and started creating her own unique style of photography and illustration. Now she continues to produce these stock images. She moved to Malaysia to work for 123RF, and she continues to produce stock images, but she also now works with businesses and artists to create advertising campaigns and copywriting, corporate graphics, and so much more to help people in their own creative endeavors. So, given Victoria's inside knowledge, I thought I would ask her 4 questions and also to give us her tips on how to find success if we do decide to go forward with stock photography as a form of income. Here they are. Number 1, what images sell? This is very, very important if you're going to be selling stock photography. We want to know what images sell. Number 2, how much do the stock photography agencies themselves influence what images sell? Number 3, is quantity important? I mentioned in my last video that if I was uploading on a regular basis, I was seeing more sales. Victoria can tell us if that is true across the board and why or why not this may be so. And number 4, how can we embrace trends to be able to sell more images? Now, I asked Victoria these questions. However, Victoria has so much more to offer, and she answered a lot more than I asked. Things about keywording, editing, finding niches, should you stick only with stock photography agencies, how to find customers, and so much more. So I have included that in a table of contents in the description, the questions that have been answered by Victoria and at what point in the video you can find them. So that way you can skip ahead, move back, find the information that you're looking for. Okay, so welcome Victoria. I'm so glad you're here, and thank you so much for answering our questions.
The most asked question about stock photography is what images sell? And this is a question that so many vloggers, journalists try to answer, and they all do it in one way. Basically, they tell you, photographer, that it's all your fault if you don't sell. So they tell you how to shoot pictures, what to shoot, follow the trends, make sure you do more megapixels, buy a better camera, it's all in the equipment, etc., etc. I have worked in a stock photography agency. Actually, I worked for 2 years at the HQ of 123RF in Malaysia, and for its bigger umbrella group, Imagine. So I know exactly how much stock photography agencies influence your sales. And this is generally forgotten by the many vloggers and bloggers I read who talk about stock photography and clearly don't know the entire business. I am here today to actually explain how much stock photography agencies actually influence your sales and how you can work with this knowledge and improve sellability. So stock photography agencies are businesses that work with algorithms. An algorithm is an IT code, a mathematical IT code that works behind a website and that determines, based on rules, mathematical rules decided by the business, they determine what they're going to show and in what order. So stock photography agencies use algorithms to determine what is going to be more shown or less shown of the media content they have on sale. Stock photography agencies, like everybody else, keeps their algorithms secret. So there's no way I can actually tell you what's the secret algorithm of 123RF or Shutterstock. What I can tell you though is that even if I did know it, it wouldn't be useful to you because they change all the time. They can be changed either by policy of a stock photography agency, so regularly, or they can be changed if something comes up, like a new legislation, or if an agency realizes it's not selling enough online, etc. So what can we actually do about it? What can you actually do about it? Not much, it is true. But you can always remember that there are 3 very important variables that are always gonna be in stock photography algorithms. If you use your head, you can actually master them and work with the stock photography agency and not against it. The 3 variables are the sales of your content. The more you sell, the more you're gonna sell in the future. This is determined by point 2, views. How many views do your pictures attract? The more views they get, the more sellability is gonna get achieved. That's pretty obvious. What's not obvious is the 3rd point, so novelty. The novelty is crucial because every time you post something new, this is gonna be shown way more by a stock photography agency than if it was an old one. So when you, for example, decide to upload a batch of pictures, remind yourself it is better if you upload a very small batch but you upload regularly in time, like once a week, for instance, rather than uploading once every 2 or 3 months a massive batch of like hundreds of pictures. That's not gonna work for you. It's gonna work against the algorithm, not with it. Do not consider these 3 points, so sales, views, and novelty, as separate variables. They work together. They are combined by algorithms and they get combined differently. Naturally, it's not just an algorithm that will determine how much you sell, but it definitely plays a very important role, a role that many vloggers and bloggers out there forget, which is a mistake. When you notice, for example, in a period of time that you're selling strangely a lot of work, and in another period of time you're not selling almost anything at all or anything at all, then you can also make an educated guess that the algorithm has changed and for an amount of time it's not going to work for you. The way out of it is to get new content. Again, small batches, but uploaded regularly in time. This will help you. Now, another point you should always keep in your mind is not just the quality or the content you have, but the quantity of it. So high quality obviously is good, and I would never tell you not to produce high quality content, but don't forget the quantity. The quantity will determine how much audience will actually see your pictures, and will also determine, thus, as we said, through the algorithm, how much you're gonna sell. A question I get very often is, how many pictures do you need in your portfolio, so accepted by stock photography agencies, before you can make real money? The answer is, it depends. It depends on the agency, it depends on the quality of your work, it depends also on the topic, it depends on a variety of factors. And in this respect, I see that a lot of stock photographers, especially when I was working at 123RF, I saw that many of them were always complaining about the fact that they produce content, a picture, in 2 versions maybe, or more than one, like a color version and a black and white version, for instance. And one of the 2, if not both, get refused because they are too similar. Now, other agencies are way more strict about that. For example, I'm sure you've noticed Adobe Stock does that all the time without even thinking, because in my experience in stock photography, both as a stock photographer myself and as a marketing responsible, I do see that consumers like choice, like variation. So keep on producing that variation, but do not do not waste your time pursuing fights with contributor supports, for instance, regarding the acceptance of one of your picture. It's a waste of time, and customer support generally doesn't really care about photographers. Only 123RF has a decent contributor support. I'm sure you already know that. So don't waste your time, just do your work, do your variations, but separate them into different batches. So today, for instance, you're gonna upload the colored version. In 3 weeks' time, you're gonna upload the batch which contains the black and white version. Trust me, so much more of your content will get approved with this little trick. And no fights, which is always best. Stock photography agencies do work on a business model that gets you single photographers or illustrators or videographers or composers to work on your own, do your art, and stock photography agencies take care of the rest of the business side of things, and you get paid a commission on sales. The thing is that with the years, stock photography isn't so new anymore. It's been going around for many years now. It's a massive industry worth billions of dollars nowadays. So it has evolved in time, and now major contributors are not anymore sole traders like you. They're massive companies or organizations of many photographers, many experts that send to photography agencies and stock photography agencies hundreds of thousands of pictures. So those definitely sell more and get shown more. They have also more means to finance their shootings. So don't try to compete with them. Don't try to enter into their niche markets. Do your own work the way you want it. Don't imitate, do your own, the way you like it. This is gonna work better. Alternatively, you can also think about joining one of those organizations yourself. Or you can create one on your own. If you have a lot of friends who do stock photography, or you know a lot of people who do stock photography or illustration, by no means, why keeping on being a sole trader? Get together, guys. Make an organization, a small business, or a foundation, depending on the country where you're at, whatever is fiscally easier for you. And get together. Your portfolio will be way bigger in no time, and you're gonna make more money, that's for sure. Another important question that is always debated about on the internet and on magazines is trends. What are the trends you should embrace to sell your stock photography? What I can tell you is that whatever you do, whether you prefer to look on Google Trends, whether you just follow your own instinct, whether you look at what pictures sell best on stock photography agencies, it's okay. I'm sure it's gonna work. For my part, I can tell you what I do personally, what works for me. What I saw is that most people tend to create images or videos that are especially based on long-term or mega trends, as I call them. So big trends, very, very broad, like ecology, like politics. They're big, they're long-term, because they think their content is gonna last longer, thus sell for longer, sell more. So it is true, but to some extent. Do not focus only on the mega trends, the long-term mega trends, such as ecology. So many people are actually creating content about ecology. Don't just stop yourself at something so broad. Try to work out more specific niches inside the megatrend. So not just ecology, for instance, but higher levels of oceans, or the relationship between the extinction of a certain species of animal and a natural change. Go deeper, find a specific concept that you want to show, or two more concepts and find a way to combine them. That is what sells. To wrap it up, here are my tips for you to sell more as a stock photographer. 1. Remember to separate your images into many batches. Don't do one mega upload Every 2-3 months, do many of smaller uploads, smaller batches across time. 2, keywording is an art and you have to master it. I know it's very boring to do it, but it definitely affects a lot your sales. Number 3, do not overuse the tools that you have with Photoshop or other editing software. Don't make the pictures fake. I've lived in Venice for like many years, and I saw when I was working at 123RF, so many pictures of Venice with the water, with the lagoon, looked like the Caribbean Sea. The main market that buys these images is the Venetian market. And we Venetians do know very well that the lagoon is not turquoise, it's green. So yeah, it's okay to enhance a bit, make it prettier, but don't make it fake. Okay? Number 4, different agencies like different content because they have different consumers. So if you see that some of your content doesn't go too well, does not even get accepted in an agency, don't worry. If you fail in one, it doesn't mean you're gonna fail with another agency. Use the one that works best for you. Have a look at your data. Have a look at your sales. Have a look at your acceptance rates across the many agencies in which you upload and decide. Don't waste your time with an agency that just doesn't work out for you. Number 5, embrace the trends. Yes, use the tools you have available. Nowadays, everywhere you can find data and information. But be careful of not creating just a lot of imitations of content that already exists and that depicts mega trends. Please combine concepts within a mega trend. Number 6, if you want to sell more, don't just stay with stock photography. Try to find your own consumers based on what you shoot and above all, what you like to shoot, because that's gonna be the best of your work anyway. Address potential customers always with kindness, but try to put a foot in the door. Obviously, if you write a simple email to a magazine, it's very rare to get accepted, to get even a response many times. Include only a very small amount of pictures of your work. 2 or 3 is enough. And always address your customers in the best way to retain them. A customer that stays with you is less expensive for you to acquire and can lead you to have way more money. If you'd like to get more insights, more knowledge about how to speak to customers and to create a loyalty and retain them in a long-term relationship, I have written this book and published on Amazon. How do you like it? Customer services. You can find it on Amazon worldwide. Last but not least, keep on shooting. Shoot what you like and don't care too much about what the others say. The others don't know what you know. The others cannot judge everything you do. Believe in it and try to achieve those 500 pictures in your portfolio or 1,000. And when you've gone beyond that, always try to get more content. Now, cheers to your future success as stock photographers, and find me on my website, www.victoriaschaal.com. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel.
So guys, you should check out Victoria's work, and I've included her website below, and she's also on Facebook and LinkedIn, and would love for you to come and check out her work and everything that she's got available to you there. I'm really glad that she came along, and she's been a really great person to work with. She's been really professional and really kind, and yeah, so thanks again, Victoria. So her information will be in the description. I am going to be away next week, and I am so looking forward to showing you all of the adventures that I have had while I've been away in Oregon at the Condo 3.0 Sony event. It's going to be really exciting. I'm very excited to go, and I will be seeing you soon. I also have a really cool review for you coming up with the new gimbal, the I'm using the Canon M50 camera, and I'm going to be using it on the Zune Crane M2 gimbal, which is brand new. It's just come out and it's smaller than the gimbal that I use now, and it's pretty neat. So I can't wait to share that with you. I also wanted to give you a bit of a behind the scenes look at how I make my videos and invite you to just kind of come along with me on that part of my journey, while of course taking more images. Thanks for coming along today, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.